Hey there everybody, this is Daxon here with Noxide.org. This is video 3 of the Photoshop tutorials where we're just getting started learning together here. And if you haven't already watched video number 1 and video number 2 of my tutorial videos, you need to go ahead and check them out, as this is the 3rd video. And if you're really new to Photoshop, you might be a little bit lost if you just start on a random video, so I recommend going back to the beginning. But let's go ahead and get started. You can see my screen here is where we left off on video number 2. So what I wanted to go to next, after we've already covered the basics of it, we've covered how to use the brush, we've covered how to use the eraser. Now let's go in a little bit more. Let's mess with the paint bucket tool, which is how you actually fill in areas. So for example, we have, let's go ahead and change our color, as I already showed you to do. Let's get like a bluish purple color, I guess is what this would be. Okay, we should be able to fill in this area just like that. You just click in the white area and it's going to fill it in. Now, something else you do want to know though, and I'll show you. Let me draw something, make my paintbrush a little bit smaller. Sometimes when I'm drawing something, sometimes when I'm drawing something, when I'm making something really fine, I'll end up with something like this, and there'll be a little bitty tiny gap. But when I come over to the paintbrush tool and I go to fill it in, this is what happens. I guess it's not gonna do it. Of course, the one time I want to show it, it won't do it. Let me try this again here. Just like that. If there's a little gap, it should do it though for us. Let's just pick black. And it made the whole thing black. You see there's a little gap here. And sometimes when you're getting really fine or you're not zoomed in far enough, like if you're using a really high pixels, you know, for high quality, sometimes it gets harder and harder to see these gaps, especially sometimes when you pull images, say from Google Images, and there's little gaps. Sometimes you're gonna have to use the paintbrush tool and fill in the little gaps, so then you can fill in other spots. Like these, see, they're all solid, so we can fill those in. Let's go ahead and actually we're getting a little messy here, so what I'm gonna do, you can either go to new like we showed and get a new one, or if you like to have a little bit more fun like me, I'll just make a big brush and I'll just brush all over it. So this time we can just start with a black background or whatever background you want. So now that we know how to use the paintbrush tool and the paint bucket tool, we need to go ahead and try to make something pretty simple. And I'm not an artist. I love using Photoshop. I'm more better at editing things, not creating things. But for this example, let's go ahead and try to make a snowman the best we can. Now what we can do is we can draw it shape by shape, which is what we're going to do. So here's going to be our bottom of our snowman. We're at 149. Let's drop it down to, say, let's see what 108 looks like. Okay, we'll overlap him just a little bit and get it straight, and then for his head we'll come down to, let's see what about 70 looks like. Okay, that should be pretty good there. Now what we can do is we're still on our paintbrush, so let's go smaller and go ahead and draw his carrot nose. So we can use, let's get a nice orange color if we can right there. And I'm gonna make my paintbrush just a little bit smaller. Let's see. Like I said, I'm not a drawer, so bear with me here. Now we want to fill that in. So let's come to our paintbrush, or excuse me, the paint bucket, and we can fill it in. Now you see there is some lines left over. If we zoom really in, see the lines it left over for us. But all we got to do is go to our paintbrush and we can fill in over the line, so then we have a nice solid carrot nose. Now if we want to use, like, say, a little bit lighter of an orange and make some nice little lines on there just to give it a carrot effect, let's see what we can do. Just like that. Now let's zoom out and see if it looks terrible as I think it might. That's not too bad, that's gonna work. Now let's do like a dark gray color for his eyes, or whatever color you want to pick. Now let's make this a little bit bigger till I get the size of his eyes. Let's go with a 9. So there's his eyes. And we can use a black color for his smile. And then we can't forget his buttons. Let's make those just a little bit bigger. And we want to go ahead and add our little holes to the snowman for our button holes. So we can take, let's just go back to white actually. So it's like little bitty holes you can see through for his buttons. We want like size 3 maybe. Like this should work, something like that. And once again, when I'm zoomed in, I guess I didn't show you, but it's this little magnifying glass. And you can click the plus if you're wanting to zoom in, click the minus, and click if you want to zoom out. And then you can use the wheel on your mouse and just scroll up and down. And you also have bars to move left and right. Let me go ahead and add the other ones. Now if we click on the magnifying glass and zoom back out, starting to look a little bit like a snowman. Now like I said, I'm not a professional drawer, I'm not an artist or anything like that by any means. Since our background is black, we need to change that. Let's change that to like a nice light blue color or something, so we can give him a black hat. Go to our paint bucket tool, click on the background, and there we have it. Now to get his hat, what we can do is use our rectangle tool here, which we also discussed in, I believe, the first video. We'll just use like the rounded rectangle should be fine. And what you're gonna do is click and drag, just like that. And we'll come over here, click and drag. And now he's got his little hat there. And we can come down here, see that there's those lines there. Those won't show up when you save it. But to go ahead and make them disappear, we can merge the layers just for the heck of it, like that. And now it's all together. We have a nice snowman here, and go back to white again. Let's get that brush tool I discussed in the second video, kind of the fade, and turn our opacity down to like, let's do like 40% and see what kind of, there, we kind of got a little bit of a snow effect going on here. Kind of color some down here, make him look like snow on the ground. Add a little bit more snow. We can just randomly click around, and it didn't turn out too bad for me not being an artist. And there we have it. So now we have pretty much are at the end of video number 3. So we went over how to use almost everything with the paint, with the brush tool, with the paint bucket, the shape tool, the magnifying glass to go in or out, and then also selecting our colors. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and move into editing images a little bit that we find online. We'll start out with, say, some outlines of images or some silhouettes or something like that, and see what kind of editing we can do. Maybe add some color to them and things like that. In video number 4, which is the next video, we'll be doing that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you're learning something with these. Also check out all my other tutorial videos and things I'm putting on my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions or suggestions, go ahead and leave a comment. Also check out my website, www.noxat.org. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in video number 4.